Hello everybody, this is the Vikstrand. Today we're going to talk about the year 1970. 1970 was a very good year. Among the very good movies that was released that year is of course 4 very high profile war movies. 3 comedies you could say and 1 very serious. 4 very different movies. I mean, we have Patton, who is ultimately the big Academy Award winner, which came sort of out of nowhere, and it was a very good movie. And another very good movie was of course Kelly's Heroes, the cartoonish war adventure comedy that was completely fantastic. And of course we had MASH, the original one by Robert Altman, which I think is a rambunctious zaniness of war and military insanity. And then we had this, Catch-22. Out of these 4 movies, I would say that I think Catch-22 is the least good movie. This is not a bad movie, it's a good movie. This is not going to be, me destroying this movie, but I'm gonna try to explain why I don't think it is as good as the other 3. Let's take a look at it, shall we? This is Catch-22 starring Alan Arkin. Arkin plays Yossarian. He is a part of a bomb squad in Italy, then flying these missions and bombing and stuff like that, and he sees his friends die and he wants to get out of this thing. He wants to try to survive this insanity, so he's trying to fight the military bureaucracy and trying to fly as many missions so he can be transferred, so we can get out of here, because this is kind of dangerous. But every time he's getting closer to meet the required amount of missions, they move the goalposts, so nobody's getting out of this place. So this is essentially our story. Yossarian fighting against the military bureaucracy and stuff like that. Catch-22 was a very high profile movie, and it had a very big budget, and it had some pretty big stars, like we have Martin Balsam and we have Martin Sheen in a couple of roles, and the movie looks great. The sequences when you have the takeoff, it's very impressive. This is one of these very complex uninterrupted sequences that I personally absolutely love, and the movie looks majestic and powerful, and the war sequences looks very good. But for some reason this doesn't work in the way I think it was intended to. I didn't expect this to be a laugh out loud comedy. This was not going to, it's a black comedy, it's a very bleak comedy. It somehow didn't register with me. It didn't register with me in the same way as it did in a movie like MASH, which arguably is a little bit more funnier than this is supposed to be, but I enjoyed it a little bit more. There was sequences in this movie that was kind of fantastic. The sequence where they explain the Catch-22, what it means, and all that stuff, I think that was absolutely hilarious. One of the funniest sequences in the entire movie, and a very funny sequence. But apart from that, there was really nothing here there was really nothing here to sink my teeth into. The characters were okay, but I didn't really care about them that much. The scenarios were interesting, but apart from a sequence here and there that was fantastic, the rest of it was a little bit pedestrian. The movie is a little bit cold, a little bit distant. It's not a secret that Stanley Kubrick at one point were aiming at shooting this one, and I think it might have saved the movie. Everything I think could be saved by a little bit of inclusion of a Stanley Kubrick, but I think it's a pretty good movie. That's good performances, that's good production value, it looks great, but the story is kind of a shoulder shrug. I didn't really was hooked by it. I think this is a pretty accurate interpretation of the source material, but I haven't read Catch-22, so I can't vouch for it. The ending is okay, and there are moments here and there that really highlights the insanity in the bureaucracy and the comedy of it all. But then we have all of these sequences that sort of goes nowhere and seems to matter for nothing. So you have that for itself. this is one of these movies I really want to like for its historical purposes, for, you know, the production value, for the acting, for the intention of the movie, but it kind of feels a little bit flat sometimes. The movie was, you know, big budgeted, and it did have all of these good stuff going on for itself, but maybe this is just one of these cases where the movie has aged too much for me, or maybe it's just a case that they're talking about the bomb campaign in Italy, which I've read a bunch of stuff about, and I have a lot of opinions about it, and I never, you know, thought that the insanity and the lunacy of the entirety of the Italian bomb campaign really came through, as it could have been done. But we're getting sidetracked here. Read a book about it if you haven't. And it is so dumb, the entire thing. The Italian bomb campaign during World War II is one of the most ineffective, counterproductive pieces of warfare that I've ever read about, and that is fucking saying something. Is the fact that this movie has no musical score a reason why this movie feels so cold and distant? I don't know, but it might be the case. Despite that, I think that the movie is entertaining, and I think that a couple of jokes really lands where it's supposed to. But for majority part of the movie, you're just there. It never truly kicks in its third gear. It feels like this movie is stuck in second gear for the majority of the movie, and nothing really happens, despite a lot of things happening, you know, the entirety of the, you know, being torn in half by a propeller and all that weird stuff, but nothing seems to matter. Maybe that's the point of the movie. Maybe there's where the humor comes from. I don't know, but I do know that I can only give this movie 59 points. I wanted to give it so much more, but I simply couldn't. I wanted to, because of the excellent craftsmanship into it, but it is bogged down by too much stuff I don't like that much. Have you seen the TV show, by the way? Is it any good? I have no idea, but I'm kind of curious about it. I'll see you next time anywhere from so-and-so reviewing well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.